Okay. Well, welcome. This is our panel discussion with our, hi Joan, with our extended day team. So these are really just really great dedicated group of educators that are working with our kiddos, mostly through our extended day program, but of course they work in other capacities in the school and are integrated into our program in other ways and know all of our kids really well, and they're excited to talk a bit about the work that they're doing with kids during extended day. For families that don't know, at Get in School, our extended day program is completely wrapped into our tuition. So families do not have to pre-register or there's no additional charge. So we to participate in extended day. So it really was an effort to really remove a lot of the barriers that can sometimes get in the way with families accessing all aspects of our program. And one of our goals really as a, in line with our mission, really one of our goals is to just really try to create as inclusive a community as possible and really eliminate those barriers. So this team of folks works with all of our kids in the afternoon, and I'm excited to have them share a bit about their work, and then we will turn it over to a Q&A. So I think what I'll do is I'll go around, and if you wouldn't mind introducing yourselves, talking a little bit about what you do, and then once we introduce the entire panel, we'll just turn it over to a Q&A. So Ella, do you mind starting us off and just sharing a little bit about yourself and what you're doing at Giddens?
Sure, of course. Hi, everyone. I'm Ella G. I work in the 1-2 extended day program. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Sam, do you want to talk, introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your work?
Hello, everybody. I'm Sam. I also work with Ella in the 1-2 program. This is my second year at Giddens, and extended day is always fun. There's always something going on. There's always some craziness, something fun, always there for the kiddos to do. But yeah, this is a great place and a great community with great people, and just looking forward to hearing what you have to say. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Sam. Okay, who wants to go next? Sophia, do you want to go next?
Sure. Hi, friends. I'm Sophia. There's like a little bit of echo going on because we're in the same room. But I work with kindergarten for extended day. And we typically do like things along their interests. Like we did a painting before, and then we did some origami. And then we also talk with their classroom like lead teachers about what they want to work on, or like specific students' interests. Yeah, that's what we do in extended day.
Hi, y'all. My name is Alani. Sorry I joined late. I'm with Steve's preschool class. I think that because our kids are so young, we generally just do a lot of arts and crafts and a lot of free play. Our kids are like super high energy, so sometimes we'll just put on music and jam out. But yeah, that's me. Thank you.
Hi, Tira, Joan.
Yeah, hi. So we're the pre-K extended day group. I'm Tira.
And I'm Joan.
Yeah. We try to kind of incorporate some of the Spark unit into our like projects. We typically will start and end our week with like just free choice, because it is a long day for like 4 and 5-year-olds to be at school until 5:30. So we try to give them that like space and time where they just get to like hang out with their friends, but then also have days where there's a little bit more structure. And like I am right now working with them on making like a 3D city model, and we're all building our dream house, and then they're going to have that as like a toy that they can play with that they have like worked to make, and trying to kind of incorporate some of the themes that they talk about throughout the day into extended day, just to, you know, keep that through line.
Joan, did you want to add anything?
I'm also pre-K extended day. Tira and I work really well as a team. One of the things I like to focus on individually is, because it is a long day for the kids, is trying to incorporate some social emotional learning aspects at the end of the day rather than academics. And so we tend to do a pretty prolonged story time during snack time at the end of the day, just to try to get the kids to answer some of the more difficult questions that you tend to not really be able to have time during the normal school day to focus on, whether it be, how we interact with each other in friendships, how do we interact when we're upset with somebody, how do we interact when we lose a family member or lose a pet. I think our focus allows the kids to be learning while they're having fun and not really feel like they're learning any extra.
Before I hand it off to families to sort of engage with their questions, could one of you just provide our families with a sense of like a typical day? Like, what does that schedule look like? This regular school day ends, and then fill in the blank. Like, what is that kind of schedule look like? And anyone can kind of jump.
Sorry to talk again, but we have a very set routine in our classroom. So at the end of the day, we combine both of our 2 pre-K classrooms into one for extended day. We have an introductory circle time where we tend to talk about how kids are feeling throughout the day. We then transition to a short outside recess to allow the kids to burn off some excess energy, and also to give kids who need some one-on-one time to talk to us individually outdoors. We then go inside and we tend to transition to snack time and story time. And then when the kids are wrapped up eating everything and, don't really feel like they want to listen to any more storybooks, we transition to our either free play or our set weekly activity, which Tira tends to be amazing at designing some great arts and crafts that blend in with the current Spark unit.
Great, thank you, Joan. Does anybody want to add anything to their schedule or anything we left out in terms of kind of the cadence of an afternoon for kids? They do stay with their grade bands. So if they're in extended day and they're in a pre-K, they're in a pre-K extended day class, likewise with kindergartens, etc. So, well, I'll open it up to families if you have questions for our team here.
I was just wondering what proportion of the families take advantage of the extended day program.
There are 60 first and second graders at Giddens this year, and I would say, Ella, an overwhelming majority of the time we have about 36 to 39 kids sign in just the first and second grade band. So a very solid proportion, like 60%, 70%.
Yeah, I think at the younger age group, like for pre-K, there's like each class has like 15, 17, somewhere in there, and we tend to have like 17. So I mean, it depends on the day, but yeah, I would say it's closer to 50% with like the younger kiddos, which kind of makes sense that there would be a little bit more kids staying at the older ages, but still a pretty good number out of the students in the grade.
Yeah, for kindergarten, we also have about 30 kids in total. So there's 2 classrooms of 15, and then usually about 15 to 18 kids stay. And then we also have enrichment programs. So on those days, more kids tend to stay because they're enrolled in that program.
So to clarify with this enrichment program, which is, I think it's an elective, right? So parents can opt in or opt out. The transitions and the activities. So how does that work with kids of let's say preschool or pre-K age, how do they transition to the enrichment activities and back into extended care and et cetera?
So in preschool for us, usually the end of the day happens and our preschool teacher, he usually does circle, like a closing circle time at the end of the day so that by the time extended day staff comes in, they're ready to go outside. Our playtime outside is an hour. So that just gives them a lot of time to burn off all of their energy at the end of the day. When we come in from recess, we don't go straight into circle time. We just have all of the kids, put their coats and things down, wash their hands and sit down for snack. I would say our circle time kind of happens at the same time as snack just because the kids are focused on eating and their ears are turned on. And after snack, we usually transition to activities. So sometimes for the younger kids, it just helps to like double, like kind of like habit stack in a way, just so that it's not as many moving parts for them.
Sorry,
You
but
wanna-
the enrichment program is something different than the extended day, or is this one and the same?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
The enrichment program, is this my understanding was it's an elective, like it's something you can opt into and
Oh, yes.
it can, right? So my question is really about if you do have, let's say I'm a parent who would like to take advantage of the extended day, but we also have our kid in the enrichment program. So that transition between enrichment and extended day, how does, first of all, what's the kind of the duration of activities for different age groups for the enrichment? And then how does this work with transitioning to back and forward to the extended day?
So we have a couple of students that are in enrichment right now. This rotation, they are usually grabbed around 3 when extended day starts. So there's no sort of like overlap with that. I believe they're in there for 45 minutes to an hour, and then they're dropped back off into class. By the time they're back with us in extended day, we're already usually like doing some sort of free choice or other activity. And at that point, they kind of just slide back into the class. Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
Hi, I was hoping you could expand a little bit on the enrichment programs, just because we're a little curious to understand what's available. And then I had a very specific question in regards to younger kids. In what can we do to prepare them for pre-K or kindergarten for a very, very long day of sort of education and activity? And do you think that 5 days a week of extended care is too much after that very long day of education?
I think it definitely is very dependent on the kid. We have some kids who stay with us until 5:30, 5 days a week, and they do fine. Like they get to play with friends and they, like I think that we have kids that tell us like extended day is their favorite part of the day because it is more like of a play focused part of that day. But I would say that like making sure that they have like all the food and snacks that they're going to want. A lot of kids really benefit from having like a comfort item that they can hold on to that like reminds them of home, and that that they're ready to be around other kids for that long. So kind of maybe over the summer, if you're having kids that are just coming into preschool, making sure that they're around other kids like pretty often. Because if you have like an only child who then is around other kids all day, having to like just adjust to like sharing, and I feel like that could be a hard transition. But yeah, we do have a lot of kids that are with us until 5:30, and they do great. Like again, it does depend on the kid, and you know your kids far better than we would. But as far as the activities that are optional, it changes every how many weeks? Every quarter? Every 6 weeks? Yeah.
Yes.
And so like right now for like the ECE program, there's yoga and acting, and I think last quarter it was soccer and yoga in Spanish. And then, you know, for different grades, there's different activities, but it does change every quarter. So there is some variation. And then that's like 1 day a week. Like if you're signing up for the enrichment activity, that's 1 day a week for each of those. But yeah, hopefully that
Can I
answered.
add one thing, Tira?
Yeah.
So some kids definitely do have difficulty with really long days. And what we try to do is work to accommodate where that child's at. So not every kid easily jumps into being at school for that long. So we try to give each kid enough ability to structure their own time. So when we're doing activities, there's no push that they need to finish these activities, that they need to do them. And if they need to take some space for themselves, each of our classrooms actually has what we call a cozy corner or a cozy cube, which tends to be a space with a lot of pillows, maybe noise canceling headphones, and some fidget toys, so that kids can easily ground themselves and help themselves calm down if they feel themselves getting a little bit overwhelmed towards the end of the day.
I'm just gonna add on. So for kindergarten, I know in the beginning of the year, we did have a few kids, a few parents that were like concerned about their children. So they started out staying for like, I think 2 extended day per week at first. And then as time passes, it slowly transitioned to 5 days. And I think because their friends are here, they're like more like happy to be around like their friends and to hang out. Because we also do have, I think about 20 to 30 minutes recess before extended day actually starts.
I can't count on both hands how many times a parent has come into my extended day room and with me and Ella, and they look at their parent and go, "Oh man, what are you doing here?" So like I said before in the introductions, we work really hard to be really close with these kids and to make them feel seen and to make them feel like they can just have fun and just be themselves and be creative. And I think that shows in them not wanting to leave at the end of the day, or they want to stay longer and hang out with their friends more. That was just a little piece that I wanted to throw in there.
Do any of you want to talk a little bit about how you'll sometimes use the Spark curriculum or create extensions related to what kids are doing in Spark in your programs? Or if you have examples? Or...
I have an example for first and second grade for the Spark unit. They were working on properties, and that's a very broad term in and of itself that can relate to someone's actual physical property, like the household that they live in, or it can be a term or state of matter. And so I was doing different little games, and me and Ella were doing little games about like weight distribution or buoyancy, or balance was a really popular one where they would put a popsicle stick in their mouth, and at the end of the popsicle stick was a dice, and they would have to try to walk across the room and back without having the dice fall over. And it got to the point where the ones who were very interested in it were trying to stack 7 or 8 dice at the end, and the ones who weren't very interested in it were just making physical properties out of like popsicle sticks and marshmallows.
I can kind of expand on what I had mentioned about like, so each quarter I've tried to plan at least one activity that relates to the Spark unit. Currently, pre-K are working on community in their Spark unit. And so I figured like for pre-K, having the ability to put time and energy into building a toy for themselves that also reflects this focus on community, that we've also read stories about, you know, what composes a community, that like, you know, what do different communities look like? And we've talked about that, but right now we're in the process of making this like probably multi-week art project that each of them will get to see like their part of this paper community and then like engage with it in free choice going forward, and then eventually they'll get to take their pieces that they've made home. But yeah, I mean, the nice thing about the Spark unit is that, you know, each teacher will bring into it their own point of view and their own perspective on whatever the theme is. Like Sam was saying, you know, generally they're pretty broad, so you can approach it in a lot of different ways. And it can be something that you can really cater to whatever you know about your students and what you think will be best suited for the time of day that we're with them, where a lot of our kids are, you know, like they want to be doing things that are maybe a little bit less brain heavy and a little bit more like self-expression and engagement with their friends and with us. And so it's nice that like within Spark we can make those things happen for them.
To close that off, one of the nice things also about extended day is that kids might not come for every day, and so they can work at their own pace. We tend to design Spark connecting projects that might take a week or two, or might take some kids only a couple of days, so that when they're at a different point in each project, they can continue to not feel like they're missing out if they miss a day or two of extended day, that they have time, that everyone has enough time to complete these projects, whether or not they stay 5 days a week or 1 day a week.
Do any of you on the panel, could any of you speak to what the communication between yourselves and the classroom teachers are like? Because obviously we would imagine that there are things that happen in your program that you'd want to communicate back to the teachers and vice versa. So kind of how that relationship works.
I can go first. So for kindergarten, we organized bi-weekly meetings with the lead teachers. And then also for Portia's class, she usually stays till like pretty late during the day. So then she's around when the parents are here to pick up their children for extended day. So then if they need to talk to them about anything, like I'm usually there, the lead teacher sometimes is there as well. Yeah.
Can I speak? I would say that like by the time I get to my location, usually our classroom teacher is still there, like wrapping things up, about to go home. If there's anything that's super pertinent that we need to be aware of, like if a student's having like extra trouble during the day, or another student, might need more support, like they'll let us know at that time. And then at that point, we usually just move forward normally with the day. And then we communicate those things to the parents when we see them. If there are any things that carry over into the next day, I'll usually just shoot the classroom teacher an email. Otherwise, I'll just go to the other higher ups that are here and they can carry that communication forward.
Just to add on, we're also, a lot of us are here during the day as well. So I'm with kindergarten for their lunch, and then like afternoon activities too. So then we're around the lead teachers pretty often as well. Yeah.
Right now, I do 3-4-5 extended day. And yes, we have a weekly meeting every Tuesday. We meet for 15 minutes to talk about things that are going on in the classroom. And I feel very comfortable emailing teachers when things happen in extended day so that they know what's going on after they have gone home, and then connecting with other faculty and admin members just to make sure that everyone's on the same page and that the communication is being sent out to all teams so that we can all move forward with a plan that works best for everyone involved.
Could I ask to what extent the extended day staff are involved in kind of the development of, strategies, I guess, for each respective classroom, because recess to me, or the extended day is not necessarily just all play, right? There's still a really pertinent part of education and interacting and working as a team. So I'm just curious how you guys work together with the classroom teachers to really incorporate that and make it holistic for the children for each grade.
I can start, if that's okay. So for kindergarten, in our meetings, we did talk about like small points on like behavior things that we need to be careful of or like just be cautious of for each child. So we basically have a list of like all like 30 kids, like what we need to be cautious about, or like how do we handle things in terms of like conflicts, and then like just like tones and like words to use. So we're also constantly learning from the lead teachers as well.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah, in those meetings that we have with classroom teachers, not only are we talking about what's going on, but we also talk with the teachers about their philosophy and how they move forward, and even all the way down to language, so that throughout the school day and extended day, these students are hearing the same language and it's being delivered in the same way, so that there's continuity all throughout the day. If that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you.
One more thing I wanted to potentially add on was that I think almost all of us have regular opportunities to work in the classroom during the day to assist our students' primary teachers, allowing us to not only focus on, communicate via email and have a list of things that we do, but also to mirror the behaviors of each teacher for each student, to allow us to really make sure there's educational consistency during extended day. While we might be different people and it might be a different classroom, at least at the pre-K level, I know we try to mirror a lot of the behaviors that we see their teachers exhibit during the day, so that kids always are feeling like it's, feeling a sense of consistency. It's not just an after-school program. It's an extension of their regular day.
Mhm.
Do any of you want to talk about, let's see, just, I don't know how to phrase this, but just something that you're engaged in right now during the school year with your kids that you think is notable or interesting or really exciting to you, or maybe something you're looking forward to that you're planning for that's a little bit further down the line. I know that you all, you bring, and one thing I love about this community is allowing teachers to kind of bring themselves, their authentic selves, to the teaching that they do. And I know you all have your own kind of passions and interests. So just curious about things that you're individually excited about in your work with kids.
We have a program here called Ology, and that gives a lot of the extended day teachers the opportunity to step into one of the primary classrooms. So last session, I worked with Zarina's class, who is a first and second grade teacher, and particularly the first graders. I worked with them last year in kindergarten during extended day, and I'm working with that group of kids again this year as first graders. And I think just having the opportunity to have your own individual lesson plans and teaching something that I was very passionate about, which was Seattle music history and all that fun alternative stuff. That was really fun and rewarding to see them being like, oh my God, I know this song, or now I want to start a band, or we're doing this and this is all the art I've made based on the music I've heard, or that gets me really excited. And then I have kids coming up during extended day asking, can you play that song? Can you play this? Can you do that? And that's something that I've always really enjoyed, was the opportunity to engage with them in an actual classroom setting outside of extended day. So Ology really helps with that.
This is sort of going back to the comment about how the kids get recess and they get an opportunity to go outside. We do live in Seattle, and we have different kinds of weather each day. So when the weather isn't great for going outside, like how do you help kids get their energy out? Like what are some activities that they get to do?
So one of the great things that I think we have an opportunity to do is, at least at the pre-K level, we tend to ensure that all kids have, rain boots and raincoats and a change of clothes. So if it's just a little bit drizzly outside, we can still go outside. However, we have a great facility here where we tend to have a gym that is fairly open to our use. So during extended day, if we have inclement weather, especially for the little ones who, it might be a little bit dangerous to go outside when it's too cold and wet, we can go to the gym and do other activities inside. Additionally, we have a lot of great technology here at the school that allows us to maybe host a little dance party in the room itself to help the kids really get out the energy that a lot of them have even at the end of the day.
Yeah, the other day we had 2 students who have a tendency to like really make each other laugh, and they were like getting so silly that they were falling out of their chairs. And one of them came up to me and was like, Tira, can we have a dance party? And I was like, wow, I love that you're like asking for self-regulation tools. Like, let's like wrap up what we're doing. And if we have time at the end of the day, yes, we can have a dance party. So like, they even know that like, there are certain tools that we have at our disposal for like safe energy exertion in the classroom. And like on multiple occasions the same kid has come up and been like, can we have a dance party today? Because like he knows that works for him to get like his wiggles out, and he like has learned the self-awareness to be like, I'm getting so silly that I can't sit in my chair anymore. And like that was one of those moments where I was like, wow, I love seeing that like our tools that we're giving them are actually being used in like a self-regulation way, even at 5 years old.
I would say one thing that I really like to do is when we're not allowed to, or like when we don't have the capacity to take the kids outside, sometimes I'll have our kids join us on just like the everyday classroom duties that we have to do. We have a couple students that stay at the end of the day, like a lot later than everybody else. And sometimes like by that time they're so tired that they're just like sitting around. So I'll be like, hey, like, do you want to bring the dirty towels with me to the kitchen? We can get that stuff. Or do you want to help me put the chairs up or sweep or get snack, things like this. I think that when they are able to like step into that role of quote unquote power, it just helps them keep on with their day a lot.
We also have a patio on the rooftop that is covered. And so as long as it's not windy or too dark, that's actually a really good place for the students to go up and get their energy out. Before winter, and when I was in the kindergarten class with Sophia, we utilized that every Tuesday and Thursdays, I think. Yeah, every Tuesdays and Thursdays, so that they had a chance to get any extra energy out while still being outside, but having a covered area so they didn't get wet or anything like that.
I have a question about sibling interactions. So I understand that kids probably stay with their age groups. And I definitely want I have 2 daughters, and I definitely want them to develop other relationships, but I also love seeing them grow into a strong team. And I wonder if there's any opportunity during extended day for them to interact in any way.
Which grade are they in?
There would be, they're going to be 3 and 5.
Yeah, so it's not every day that this happens. Actually, I'm not sure exactly how often it happens, but we do have a buddy system at the school. So kids from the older grades, usually like 1, 2, will come down every so often and they'll play with the younger kids. Is that answering your question?
No, I was thinking more about extended day and like, can they play with each other every now and then, or is it strictly in the groups?
They're together, right?
I'm sorry.
What?
So they're age 3 and 5, or then grades 3?
Age 3 and 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
So third grade. That's
Like, do you guys do whole group recesses at all? Like, is that a way for kids to mingle across grades, or are there any other examples where they might get to mingle outside of their specific?
So at least I know that in our grade band, so we tend to have a combined recess for preschool and pre-K at the start of our extended day to allow them to interact with each other. Additionally, towards the end of extended day, when there are less children in the classroom, we tend to combine the two classrooms together so that kids have an opportunity to maybe play in a different room, play in a new space, and play with new friends, and also to help prepare preschoolers for that transition to pre-K.
Thank you.
Just to add on to that, because I know we have a lot of siblings at our school, do you see with those siblings that they're engaged with each other in extended day, or what is your kind of read on that?
I have two boys. One is a first grader and one is a second grader, and they have different social circles that they interact with, but a lot of the time towards the end of the day when other kiddos are kind of getting picked up and the herd is getting thinner and thinner, they gravitate back towards each other, and I've seen them just coloring, playing chess together, and just generally hanging out. So yeah, I've seen siblings interacting with one another if they line up with the grade band ages.
I also noticed that there's always an overlap between like K through 5 grades recess and like ECE recess, and a lot of the time siblings will run up to the gate between the two playgrounds and they'll be like, like so excited to see one another and like yell at each other from the two playgrounds, and like all the kids recognize like the siblings of their friends and will be like, your brother, your sister is like trying to get your attention. And so we definitely noticed that there is like, even amongst programs where they're not seeing each other as often, they do have those moments of like coming together and getting to build community in that way. And that's like in extended day. I think there's more opportunities during the school day for that, but yeah, for sure, there's still moments where that happens.
I guess a follow-up question to that is like, are electives, are they multi-grade or are they age banded as well? So I heard you mentioned that there are special programs that you can just sign up for. Are those mixed grades and mixed ages, or are they targeted and tiered towards specific age appropriate bands?
I know for, oh, sorry.
Sorry, I was just making sure that my question was clear.
Yeah, I know for there's a lot of enrichment classes that goes from K and the 1-2. I think those are usually together, and then 3 to 5 grades are usually together for that. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I was just trying to figure out if there were interactions for children interacting with other age groups, because my family doesn't have like a ton of friends with many kids, so it would be nice for our kid to be able to have that opportunity to see humans of various size and ages.
Are there any other questions for our extended day team? And then also for our extended day team, is there anything that you want to highlight for our families that maybe we haven't covered that you think that would be great to share? Again, the program is open to all of our kids. We have the program structured so that we can receive all of our kids on any given day. We're just trying to build a really vibrant afternoon community for our kids to be engaged with. So we always are encouraging our families that to use this program because I think there are a lot of benefits, both at just the social emotional level, that extension of time to just be with friends. And of course, I hope you've seen this is a really great team of teachers that really care deeply about all of our kids. So it's a really great program. So I'm glad that we had the opportunity to highlight this for you today. And again, I've recorded it. So if you want to go back and sort of revisit this will be available on our website. So thank you all for being here. We will, next week, we'll have our next round of Meet Our Community series. So hopefully you'll be able to join us then as well. And have a great day, everyone. Thank you for being here with us. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.